Hi everybody.
Hello everyone.
Last week we posted Pure Fruit on our YouTube channel. It's a documentary that was made in 2009 and at the end of 2009, and we're going to talk about how that came to be, how it was born. So should I start? Yeah. What happened was that in 2006 I was visiting a friend of mine, a friend of ours, Zalan, who at the time was living in central Victoria, a little town called Hepburn Springs, and he was running a kind of old worldly guest house in Hepburn Springs where I was staying at, and in exchange for me staying there I was doing a bit of work for him. And there was one other young lad, a German fellow named Julian, who was staying there at the same time as I, on the same kind of basis that he was working in exchange for living there for a week or two. And Julian was a raw food vegan who I think he'd never met a fruitarian before, so he was quite kind of fascinated by the fact that I was eating only fruit. And I think I must have inspired him to do likewise, because a year or two later he was travelling in South America, and on his travels he ran into a young American fellow named Emil, who was at the time a filmmaker, or he was a student filmmaker. He was at university studying film. I'm not exactly sure what the course was called, but studying film. And he, for his thesis, he had to create a documentary. It was part of the end of year thing that he had to submit a thesis, this 1 hour documentary. And he thought that when he met Julian, that maybe he could make his thesis about him, because Emil had never met somebody who was fruitarian, because that's what Julian was doing at the time. He was eating only fruit. He thought this was quite fascinating, and Emil was looking for an idea for his thesis. So he thought, well, this is something that I could do, that I could make a documentary about. So we asked Julian if he could do that, but Julian was maybe a little bit shy and didn't really feel like he had enough experience already to be part of that documentary. But he suggested to Emil that Emil should contact me and make the documentary with me if we agreed.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2009. Emil did that. He contacted me, sent me an email, and he asked if it would be okay to do that, and that's how it all got started, really. And yeah, do you want to say something before I continue? Or?
Yeah, I only want to say when Margot told me he was contacted by Emil about doing documentary about us, it was very good news for me. I was very happy about it, because to just somebody showing interest in our lifestyle and want to make a documentary about it, that was for me big deal. Because most of the time in the past came across with like a rejection of my ideas or my lifestyle. I was like somebody who is weird, but it was nice that somebody found it interesting and won't even make a documentary about it. So that was for me very nice.
Yeah, it was good. And the other thing that was really cool, at the time, in 2009, I was waiting on a permanent residency visa for Australia, and we were living in Sydney, and but we didn't really want to be living there. We both had this idea that we wanted to come up north into the tropics, into the Australian tropics. We didn't know really exactly where, but we did have in mind this particular area that we're living in now. So we had that in mind. That was our plan to do, and it happened that I think in maybe September of that year, 2009, I got my permanent residency visa, and Emil wanted to come in. I think the end of November is when he came. And it actually fitted in perfectly, because we told Emil that, well, he could do it, but we didn't know where we would be. So because we were going to be travelling up here, he actually thought it was a great idea.
Yeah, he thought, that's actually great. we can put it in a movie, we have a more story to it.
Yeah.
So he was actually excited about it.
Yeah, because what was going to be just maybe a documentary of us living in Sydney eating fruit turned out to be the road movie that it's become, with us travelling, I don't know, 3,000 kilometres or whatever we did up the coast.
Looking for a new
home. So he came over actually with his mate Dave, who was the cameraman. So just the two of them, and they hired a car and they followed us all the way up. They filmed us packing. They filmed some of the people that that were our neighbours at the time in Sydney, and
who we met on the road.
Who we met on the road, yeah.
And who we met in our first dwelling up here in North.
Yeah.
And I also want to mention Emil and David. They're beautiful people, both of them. A really pleasure to work with them. I have fear and doubt how I'm going to be on the front of camera because I don't like to be taken photo of me, otherwise can't look natural. If I know the photos are taken of me, I start pulling weird faces. So I was worried about that, but for me, it surprised me that actually I was comfortable. I was fully comfortable. There was no discomfort whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I had that only with the still pictures with camera and perfectly fine.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So they were filming us almost all day long, really.
Yeah,
except of course when we were driving because they had their own car. But even then they were filming the car. They were driving. They were filming.
They bought a cabriolet for that reason. I mean, a higher cabriolet, so they can take a roof down and just go on the front of us and take the filming us that way. Yeah. And
I think
as you see in the
one
movie,
time they were actually stopped by the police. Weren't they? I have a feeling that they were stopped because David was sitting up without his seatbelt and he was filming us with the roof down. And they got stopped. I mean, I think the police didn't. They kind of accepted the fact that they were making a film, and they just let them off. Let them go. Yeah. So it was all good. And at one time, I think also we got lost, so we separated. We didn't know where they were, but fortunately, Emil had bought two little cheap mobile phones. That they had one and we had the other. We'd never had a mobile phone. That was the first one we'd had. So, we had this mobile phone to keep in touch in case we got lost, which happened only the once that I can recall. But it was a pleasant trip up, and I think all in all they filmed over 200 hours of footage, and Emil somehow managed to reduce it all down to one nice little documentary that's just 1 hour long. Which is quite an amazing feat, really. I can only imagine the amount of work that he must have put into to get the end result that he did, and kudos to him, really. And we really appreciate the fact that he's able to do so in such a non-judgmental way, really. Because I think if anybody else making, not anybody, but most other people that would have been making a movie like that would have had their own agenda, possibly, to make us look like crazy people, which of course we acknowledge that we are, but that's beside the point.
No, I don't think I'm crazy. I think the rest of the world is, but that's okay.
Yeah, well, I agree with her, really. So everybody else is crazy, we're the only sane ones. But anyway, yeah.
No, I don't want to get into this. I also want to mention we got as a present those mobiles, and we also got the record. Little gadget which was record.
It was a camera.
Camera.
It was a little camera.
Yeah, a little camera.
Yeah.
But we hardly use it because we wasn't much into doing such a stuff.
No.
Then.
Yeah.
Plus we were busy with driving, and the drive was hot.
Yeah.
Weather around the Christmas time, and it's the most hot weather in Australia. And blah blah.
Because the filming went on for 2 weeks, all in all. The end of November, beginning of December of 2009. And yeah, I'm not sure exactly when Emil produced the video. Maybe in the course of 2010 he probably made it. Maybe the end of 2010, around that time.
So we have to travel how many kilometers from Sydney up here? About over 3,000 kilometers.
Yeah.
So we most of the day were traveling. We used to stop for buy some fruit, eat some fruit,
Yeah.
have a little rest, go to restroom, blah blah blah. And also that you can see in some video those stops.
Yeah.
And how we chatted people on the way.
Yeah.
We met while we had it.
Yeah, it was very well done, and he captured some great moments there.
Yes.
With Ian as well. Yeah.
Yeah, Ian's getting few comments because nobody can believe that's another kind of extreme in a way today. We have a choice how we can eat. He's practicing paleo, I think, which is getting popular more maybe than fruitarian, but that's okay, that's understandable because the meat is number one still for most of people on earth as food. So we're talking now about the video. So what else we want to say about that video? Making.
Yeah. Yeah, it just really it was a nice experience for us, and it's really kind of nice legacy to have that we can look back on and see, remember the time when we were in Sydney and where we lived and the neighbours we had, the people we knew, and just the whole experience of coming up here and not really knowing what we were going to do, and just the beautifulness of how it all fell into place really afterwards, which wasn't in the video, but yeah, it did. Yeah.
So we hope that whoever watched the video already, that you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And we got few comments on that video. We're really thankful for them, and thank you for letting us know you out there, just on talking to the air. And also I lost the thread. Do you have something you want to say?
No, I think we've said it all really. I think what we need to say.
So maybe we didn't say everything. If you're interested about something more, if you have some more questions about making this video Pure Fruit, you're more than welcome. Just ask, and we can make another video just answering those questions if there is more than one. And also we planning to do the video on if we actually thinking do pure fruit number 2, but that you have to wait and see.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Mango, what you?
No, that's it. Yeah, I think we say goodbye for now and see you next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're sending you a lot of love. Take care. Make sure to cultivate the love in your heart. Make sure that's your priority in your life, because that's the best thing you can do. I can bet on it, and I bet also you can bet on it too. And I'm not betting on anything, I'm not gambler, but this one I bet on. Thank you. That's all from me too for now. All the best for everybody. See you next time.